What's going on? 40-year-old gamer here, coming to talk to you about the new Avengers Infinity War footage that was shown at Comic-Con to some lucky fans this past weekend. Let me tell you, it looks awesome. The first part of the video, we see the Guardians of the Galaxy just flying through space, and they encounter a debris field, and among the debris floating in space is Thor, and they bring him aboard the ship, and Mantis uses her powers to revive him. Now, with Thor floating in space, you gotta wonder how he ended up getting there, because I don't think the Guardians or Thor even arrived at Earth yet, or unless it was the aftermath of a battle that he had on Earth that left him out there. But I'm guessing that it might have something to do with the events of Thor Ragnarok, for him to just be floating in space. And I mean, you gotta almost think that, you know, we saw Loki teaming up with him in the Thor Ragnarok second trailer, so you gotta wonder if maybe Loki double crosses him at the end of that movie, and somehow he just ends up floating among some wreckage in space. So anyway, the Guardians bring him aboard the ship and they revive him, and all of a sudden Thor is flying with them. And it looks like they come upon Earth, I'm guessing. And when they arrive, it looks like it's like the whole world is fighting against, or just at war. The next scene, we see Scarlet Witch, and she's in a battle of her own. And we see her fighting against something down there. We can't make it out, though. And then we see, stepping over bodies, we see Loki just standing among the dead on Earth. And he is holding the Tesseract. So yes, Loki has the Tesseract and he is presenting it to someone. And you gotta guess it's Thanos. So how does Loki get the Tesseract, or does he because remember, in the Thor Ragnarok trailer, Hela pretty much destroys Asgard, and Loki ends up on I guess a car with the Grand Master, and it looks like he was imprisoned from the second trailer, and him and Thor Thor ends up breaking him out, and they end up probably working together. But I'm guessing that Loki somehow double crosses him before the end of that movie and makes a mad dash back to get the Tesseract. The next scene of the video, we see Spider-Man on a school bus, and the hairs on his arms just raise up. His spider sense is going off, so he feels something is wrong. And next we see an object falling from the sky, looks like a spaceship, and then we see on Earth just everything just looks in ruins, and Tony Stark is on the ground, and Tony Stark is alongside of members of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So the Guardians come to Earth, and with Thor, we see Spider-Man in this shot. We see Tony Stark. We see them standing next to Drax, Star-Lord, and Mantis. And when that spaceship comes down to Earth, we hear the voice of Thanos making his presence known in the MCU. We see Gamora in the next shot, and then we see a portal opening up, and in comes Thanos in all of his glory, and he looks pissed. And then in the next shot, we see Doctor Strange aiding Star-Lord in an attack effort against Thanos. He's using his powers to make like sort of steps in the air for him to run across. In the next scene, we see Tom Holland Spider-Man. We see him, we see the new suit that he was offered to. He was offered a new suit at the end of the Spider-Man Homecoming movie from Mr. Stark. He turned it down, and Stark gives him his old suit before the movie ends, but looks like he's donning the new suit that he turned down originally in the Homecoming movie. And the next shot, we see the Winter Soldier cocking a rifle. Looks like he probably got his other arm back. And we see him standing alongside of the people of Wakanda. And we see leading that army from Wakanda, we see the Black Panther. And next shot, we see a figure throwing a spear at a figure in the dark. Now I'm guessing that the guy throwing the spear might be one of the members of the Black Order. One of them does wield a spear or spear weapon or whatever. He hurls it at this sort of mystery figure in the shadows, and mystery guy catches it in mid-flight. Next we see Vision and Scarlet Witch, and then they go back to the shadowy figure, and in comes Captain America, full beard and all. So he looks like he grew a little hair since Civil War happened. And then we see Then we see members of the Avengers fighting against alien forces on Earth. We see Stark donning the Hulkbuster Iron Man suit, just like he had in the Age of Ultron movie in the fight scene against the Hulk. And then we see Scarlett Johansson. She's rocking a new hairstyle, well, new hair color. It's like kind of a silvery white. Then we see Black Panther fighting with some of the alien forces on Earth, and the Falcon also kicking butt. And then we see Thanos just laying a smackdown to Iron Man in the next scene. We see Tony Stark in the next scene. We see him looking up. I think this is part of another scene where we see him kneeling over Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I'll get to that in a minute. Yep, it just happened in the trailer. He's standing over him. You hear Tom Holland say something to him. It's like he was apologizing. It looks like they're all just getting their butts handed to them in this trailer, or in this video clip. And we have Thor just being manhandled by Thanos. He just scoops him up, just palms his head like a grapefruit, and looks like he's just squeezing it. In the next shot, we see Gamora. No, not Gamora. We see Nebula joining in on the fight against Thanos. The next shot, we see seeing this next scene. There's a head in the way, so you kind of can't make out who's on the left side of this video. But if you saw the photos that was posted on Twitter, where it had Robert Downey Jr. Had Bruce Banner, the Hulk, in there in the picture, and it also had Doctor Strange, and it had Wong in there too. And they were all just like sitting down having lunch or whatever. So I guess the figure all the way on the left side of this shot with those four is Wong, and then standing next to him is Doctor Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Then we got Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, and then we got Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Then we see some more fighting on Earth. I'm thinking that's Captain America fighting on the ground. And then we see Star-Lord just falling from the sky. You don't know if he's dead or falling dead or whatever, but looks like they are really having a difficult time trying to fight against Thanos in this video. And we have Iron Man looking up, and all of a sudden Thanos just lays the smackdown on him, just delivers a haymaker to him, knocks him to the ground, and we see him wielding the Infinity Gauntlet. And in that gauntlet, it looks like he only has one gem. Can't really see the pinky knuckle on it real clear. It almost looked like there was a reddish one in there, but he definitely has the the Tesseract, the Space Stone at this point, because it's glowing in his it is glowing in the gauntlet, and he raises it up and clenches his fist, and then he just throws down, and you see a bunch of just fire and everything just raining down from the sky in this trailer. Now, if you're a comic book fan like I just cannot wait for this movie. Oh my goodness, this is going to be just awesome. We've been waiting almost 10 years for this to finally come to fruition, and we are finally getting what we wanted. So, any guys, if I missed anything in this on this review, or leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think. If I suck making this, let me know that too. Drop me a like or just hit me up, drop me a comment, anything or whatever. I'll be sure to answer them. Once again, I'm 40-year-old gamer. Thank you, and be talking to you soon.